Hello everyone, thank you for joining this little update video of mine. For anyone that knows me, we're coming up on a fairly special time of year for me, and I don't particularly mean that special time of year, I mean this special time of year. I first joined the Movember cause about 1 year ago. A very good friend of mine invited me to join it, and I took him up on his offer mainly because I had run out of motivation and direction in my life at that point. He invited me into the UL team, which I won't be joining this year as I feel like I've kind of lost my ties to that team. Movember is a rather unique charity in that it's not particularly form specific. It doesn't matter what way you go about raising money for these charities or why you choose to do it. It just matters that you do it in a way that you're comfortable with and that you're happy with. So I personally have decided to raise money for men's mental health and men's health organisations. But people can join and fundraise for any cause that they see fit. And what I'm doing for charity, what I'm doing to raise money, is I am running and swimming, as well as doing a few calisthenic exercises, and I show all of this on my own home screen. What I decided to do with this charity organisation is push myself into an activity that I had never really pursued before, and that was running. Now, for those who don't know, running is a sport that is incredibly difficult to get into at first, but once you do get into it, it becomes addictive. It's a sport that, once it's in your life and once it's in your routine, you couldn't bear to live without it. At the time, when I first joined this charity 1 year ago, running was brand new to me. I could not run 5k without having to take a break in the middle. Nowadays, thankfully, I'm happy to report that 5k is something I do on the regular. So I've seen a lot of progress made over this past year. In this particular charity, I probably won't be pushing my running goals as much. I feel comfortable with where my running is at the moment. I feel comfortable with how it's progressing. So I'm just going to keep going as I am and run the same 60 kilometers that I ran last year. On top of the 60 kilometer running goal that I have, I'm going to attempt to reintroduce some other activities that have kind of fallen by the wayside, particularly in this last year. And one of those is swimming. Swimming is an activity that used to be a major part of my life. I was a lifeguard actually for a very long time, and it was actually the first job I ever got. So swimming is an activity that is somewhat nostalgic for me, but certainly one that I miss doing dearly. So I'm going to use Movember to reintroduce swimming, just as I did use it to introduce running. On top of that, I'm going to use Movember as a bit of an excuse for me to really push on some strength-based goals that I've had. These again are goals that I've had for a very long time, and what's happened is I have settled on second-rate results. So right now what I want to do is focus on mastering a handstand and mastering a front lever. I'm fairly close to both, although I'm certainly closer to a front lever than I am to a handstand. But I'm going to use Movember as the motivational push I need to reach the goals I have set for myself. So that's to be able to hold a handstand properly for at least 10 seconds, and to be able to do a genuine front lever. It doesn't have to be a concentric front lever, it just has to be a proper clean front lever. Throughout the course of the month, I, like many other of these Mo bros, will be growing out my mustache and also growing out my head hair. I don't have any particular goals in mind for them as such. I don't have anything I'm going to grow them into, I'm just going to leave them alone for the whole month. What I'm thinking will be a fun little idea is whoever is the single biggest donor to my own cause gets to decide what I do with my hair at the end of the month. Now, of course, I'm not going to allow any sort of obscene or historically unacceptable haircuts, but something fun, something quirky, some little thing like that. Whoever donates the most to me gets to choose my next hairstyle. Now, as for the team. I've made a team with a group of climbers that I've become quite close to in this past couple of years. The team's name is Alex Smigos, which probably won't make an enormous amount of sense to all of you. The climber that we've taken inspiration from is Alex Magos. He's a German climber, incredibly strong, incredibly motivational, and we decided that we would just name our team sort of half after him. The team profile picture that I've picked is Alex Magos with a bit of a half-drawn schmig there, so hopefully I don't get in too much trouble over that. But this team is made up primarily of climbers with a few very close friends of mine who generously decided to join the cause as well. So if you can donate to that team, please do, and be sure to check out the pages of all of the members as well. With that, I'd like to thank you once again for checking out this update video, and hopefully I'll have one out next week as well. See you all then.